but we just want to play this clip from Glenn Beck. This is from, I think it was March 21, right? Earlier in the last year.
Yeah, March.
Okay.
Yep.
And they were highlighting something that had been, well, I'll just let them talk about it and then we can discuss it because it's interesting to hear.
In an article from the National Review, the Board of Education in California recently voted unanimously to approve the ethnic studies model curriculum for use in all of the state's public schools. This curriculum, the National Review says, is probably the most radical, ideologically loaded educational document ever offered up for public consideration in the free world. Here's why. Students are to be taught that white Christian settlers committed theocide against indigenous tribes when they arrived in the New World by murdering Native American gods and replacing them with the Christian God. According to the curriculum, this replacement ushered in a regime defined by coloniality, dehumanization, and genocide, and the explicit erasure and replacement of holistic indigenous gods and their humanity. But all is not lost, for students are also going to learn that they have the power and the responsibility to build a social order defined by counter-genocide, which will eventually supplant the last vestiges of colonial Christianity and pave the way for, and I'm quoting, regeneration of indigenous, estimistic, and cultural futurity. I can't. A future that has the old gods and is culturally in line with what the indigenous people wanted to do.
That'll make your blood boil.
It does. But, it's from March, so we want to clarify that that's when it was. You stated that. But some things have happened since then. This was not back in March, it wasn't like this theory. Like, they passed it. It's in the schools in California. You wonder why we're having issues? You wonder why we're having issues in California? It's because of this nonsense being done in the buildings. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about what they're going to do, Nate?
Yeah, the curriculum it would go to nearly 10,600 public schools in the state of California that serve 6.2 million students.
Oh my gosh.
K through 12. Kindergarten. I can't even fathom that. Chapter 5 of the nearly 900-page curriculum offers 9 pages of affirmations, chants, and energizers meant to bring the class together, build unity around ethnic studies, principles, and values, and reinvigorate the class following a lesson.
So we're going to summon the dark world into the classroom. It's what it is. We're summoning... They played on this clip. They played what they're actually saying. It's in the transcript of the clip of what they're actually saying, and they're summoning spirits from another realm to come into the classroom to foster equity and diversity.
During these lessons, the names of these Aztec gods are collectively invoked 20 times, 4 times each. In other words, summoning. Throughout the prayer, the suit reads, "They are honored and praised by repeatedly invoking their respective names, followed by the mention of various attributes and principles relating to these Aztec gods. The prayers ask for things like beautiful knowledge, becoming more realized human beings, as well as strength that allows us to transform and renew."
And then, does it say in there some of these gods?
Yeah, so the gods that they're worshiping, this is what they're attributed to, and this is documented, this is truth. The Aztec gods were worshipped with brutal human sacrifice, including ripping the beating heart out of a victim. Aztec worship is associated with black magic, cannibalism, bloodletting, and the flaying of victims' bodies to provide a skin suit worn as golden clothes by Aztec priests. Victims' hearts were often burned in offering, and the dead bodies then fed to animals or eaten by the people. Other victims were fastened to frames and shot full of arrows, with their blood dripping down like the fertile spring rains.
Just hearing that description and then thinking about, the white settlers coming over with their Christian God, I'm sure these indigenous people were like, wait, what? Your God is good?
Yeah.
Yeah. He doesn't do any of that.
We throw people off of the pyramids.
Yeah. I'm sure it wasn't like you will worship our Christian God. They probably, well, actually I know because I'm reading a history book about it right now, but they just told them the good news, right?
Yeah.
Shared the gospel with them and
in many cases lived with them. We have in our own area here where they came and settled and lived with the Indians and learned how to do things with them and said, listen, this is how we're going to evangelize the West.
Yeah. I mean, we can offer you freedom.
Yeah, we can offer you freedom. So we've got millions. How many million? Can you pull that up?
6.2.
6.2 million students who are chanting to Aztec gods, summoning those spirits into the classroom to benefit our education system. And obviously this is approved by the unions and all of that. If you have a child in California in a public school and they are doing this, your responsibility is to remove them as fast as possible, to find a Bible believing church and cast that off of them. Whatever they've chanted to come on them, you remove that from them, find a pastor, call the number, connect with us, we'll get it off of them. And then you need to get them into a place where they're actually going to be not summoning demons every day and connected to just some decent life. Are you kidding? Like, this is nonsense. We're the state of California and subsequently, I'm sure other states are passing this agenda, summoning demons into classrooms. It's insane.
And even if people don't believe us, I think, will you link this video?
Oh yeah.
He goes on to explain that.
Yeah.
Way more in depth also.
It's about a 12-minute video.
Yep.
Total. Yeah.
So,
yeah, you got to watch the whole thing. But the key is if you're there, okay, and then let's say you're there, but your kids are in a private school and not dealing with all this, which is great. But you need to run for office for the school board in California, and you need to say, this nonsense isn't happening on my watch. And you need to remove those people who sign on to this. And it can be done. It's been done here on many different occasions. But I'm saying all across the country and all around the world, for all of you, we've gotten tons of comments from other countries and amazing. Thank you for watching. But you need to do whatever you can in your area to fight the good fight of being available to be used, to be elected, to run for office, and bring some kind of sanity to this insane world.
Kind of goes back to Nate earlier again, saying it doesn't make sense. Like, there was such a push to get religion out of schools. They wanted the Bible, God, out of schools, out of the Pledge of Allegiance. And now all of a sudden it's in the curriculum to worship Aztec gods?
Yeah, they weren't trying to remove religion. They were trying to remove Christianity. Yeah. They want religion.
And just reading
No, you're right. You're absolutely
They want religion. They just don't want God religion.
So they call it religion now. You know what I mean? Like when they're trying to get Christianity out of the school, they say, well, we don't want religion in the schools.
Right. Yeah.
Well, the terminology, and it's all focused around unity. Like, that's all the lingo they use is unity, togetherness. Like, this is what this is all about. And if you go back to a previous video we did a while ago talking about the one world religion, that's exactly the same thing they're saying. Unity, togetherness. Yeah. Like, let's gather around this.
Yeah. And we're seeing it in public documents. Again, this is documented, 900-page curriculum.
Yep.
You can go get it. It's there, and they're doing all of this and perpetrating it on young skulls full of mush who are supposed to be being taught things that can benefit the community as a whole going forward. And we're teaching them as kindergartners to summon demons, and we don't think we're going to have a problem when they're 12th graders?
Yeah. The thought
or when they go into the world?
Yeah. And the thought I had instantly is, if this did go through and every school in California is teaching this, how many parents would actually know this was being taught? I don't know, but it's a scary thought.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that is one blessing of COVID was that what the schools were teaching the kids, all of a sudden it was in parents' living rooms and they overheard it.
Yep.
And that's how critical race theory got, exposed so prominently. And now everybody knows what's going on.
Yeah, that's true. It's a huge opportunity, I believe, even though it's nonsense and craziness. It's a huge opportunity to voice your opinion and to say this is the truth.